You're watching SuckProfessor. Hello, everybody. It's me, Hank. I'm joined by...
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Hey, buddy. So we're talking about Arya. We just finished watching season 6, episode 8, No One. Big spoilers in case anybody cares about that. So, James, the Arya stuff was a huge disappointment to you, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Give us a little bit of that.
Okay, in the previous episode, we saw Arya get gut stabbed by a particular person, the Waif, right?
The Waif.
And in walking through Braavos, she was using her right hand to throw things down. She threw down 2 satchels of coins on the table. We know from previous episodes they've established that Arya is left-handed when she was learning to water dance and fight and do whatever.
And brush her hair.
Yes, it was nothing that they hid. This was a very well-established fact, and yet she used it 3 times. 2 times to throw down the satchels and once to clutch her wound when she was climbing out of the water.
Yeah.
So it seemed as though there's no way that could be a mistake. Also, she knew that the Waif was going to pursue her throughout Braavos.
Yeah.
Why would she stroll around in broad daylight, making herself well-known, and not reacting when that woman approached her, the old woman whose face she saw in a previous episode on the Wall of Faces in the House of Black and White?
Right.
Sweet girl.
Setting up the idea that this episode it would turn out that
Yes.
it was not actually Arya, but was in fact Jaqen.
Or Syrio Forel. I thought he was still alive because in the teaser screenshot for this particular episode that was presented last week, it showed the picture of the Waif standing there with a shadow behind her, and the shadow had the exact outline of Syrio Forel, who we know was the first Sword of Braavos. They're in Braavos. We didn't see him die. We heard a metal sword hit the ground. He had a wooden sword. He's not dead. He's coming back. I love that character. I want him back. He didn't come back. I'm sad and I'm mad.
But let's be clear, you don't mean that the Arya that got stabbed was actually Syrio Forel.
I was thinking
that Syrio Forel came back because he actually didn't die. We never saw him die.
Right, I was 50-50. I was thinking maybe that Syrio was a faceless man, that he could have been Arya, or Jaqen could have been Arya, because the Waif told him something like, I want this, you promised me.
As I expected.
Shame. The girl had many gifts.
You promised me.
She used 2 descriptive terms for herself that were individual terms.
Yeah.
So he said, pity a girl had many gifts. And I thought that he was talking about the Waif, not about Arya. And when he said, don't let her suffer, I felt like he was going out to pretend to be Arya to see if the Waif would fulfill her duty by not letting the target suffer.
Okay.
And that he was going to kill the Waif to replace the life that the many-faced gods required that was lost when Arya didn't kill the stagehand, well, not stagehand, the actor.
So the internet got very busy making all these theories and drawing out little maps and, not maps, but the little charts, and the Syrio Forel outline, the shoulder pad thing seemed to fit.
The hair, and everything.
And so, but it turned out that tonight's episode, No One, it actually was Arya.
Yeah, and it made...
Who got stabbed. By the way, we all know that people with who are left-handed, they can't use their right hand to clutch their stomach or toss coins.
And apparently people who get gut stabbed in Game of Thrones have titanium guts.
Well, they do heal quickly.
She's Wolverine intestines. There's no way she would be running and jumping around like that. I get a paper cut, and I'm not picking stuff up for a week.
Yeah, I get a paper cut, and I start writing my will.
Yeah, I stub my toe, I'm in a cast.
Exactly. Why was that so disappointing that it was Arya to you then?
Because it's such a less interesting, It
would have been great to see Syrio Forel come back. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, because everything it seemed like they were dropping little hints here and there that the keen observer would pick up on that would lead you to a conclusion that wouldn't be Arya.
Yeah.
I thought that was masterfully done. I love the fact that when little details are put in there to reward people who are eagle-eyed about these kind of things. So they did that. They sprinkled these little clues of intrigue around, and then they release the actual episode, and you're thinking they're going down this very intricate, interesting path, when in reality they're just doing like a mudslide down a hill into Dumbtown.
Well, that's how I used to go to work.
What?
Yeah, I used to shovel poop in Dumbtown.
Oh, I'm just so mad.
Yeah, well, that's annoying. So the whole Arya thing was just a giant disappointment. But it ended with her killing the Waif, so you got some vengeance.
Right, but it didn't seem like it was the ending that I was hoping for.
I was disappointed that we didn't get to see them fight. She just lops off the candle, which you also had an issue with. You made this case that that candle would still be burning. Right,
you're in this very dry cellar area with straw and crap laden around, and the candle burns from a wick in the wax, as you pointed out.
Yeah, the wax is sucked into the wick. It wicks it up.
Yeah, exactly. So if you were to extinguish a candle, you would expect her to hit the flame or something like that, or cut the wick, or something like that.
Yeah.
The candle just slides off. It'd still be glowing on the floor. You'd still see something.
It would first land on the table, maybe.
Right, it'd be a little
maybe roll
nightlight.
off the table, but it depends on how the candle would tumble off the candle and possibly extinguish itself or not.
Right.
I think in most cases that candle would have gone out.
Right,
I've
but-
knocked over a few
okay.
candles in my day, James, and usually it killed my family.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's say play the devil's advocate. Let's say the candle did extinguish.
Yeah.
They're both in the dark. Who trained Arya to fight in the dark? Who trained Arya to fight blind?
Well, but Arya was the one that was blind doing the fighting.
Right, but you assume the Waif also went through that training as well when she
Yeah.
was acclimating herself to becoming the Waif.
You know, Mr. Ralph Macchio eventually kicked Mr. Miyagi's ass.
I don't think so.
Just leave it alone.
I think...
Anyway, I was saying I was disappointed that we didn't get to see the fight. I like
Yeah.
that they did it that way because it's like, okay, now you finally get your comeuppance. Arya has confidence, and now she's going to kick your ass in the dark.
Yeah, I
no
think she
problem.
was-
So then she brings her face back, and her eyes were, the whole mouth blood. It was everywhere. It was not a clean mask. She put it on the wall. She had the little thing with Jaqen H'ghar.
And he looked at it and said, "This is a mighty thin wafer."
It is a thin wafer. And they seem to have an understanding because she formally, this is a big deal. She
Right.
formally announced who she is because the whole thing was her struggle with getting rid of her identity.
But the problem is that when the Waif was talking to Arya, she said something like, "You failed in your duty to deliver the chosen name to the one many-faced god."
Yeah.
And then she said another name has been chosen, which apparently seems to imply that Arya's name has been chosen, which it was because she was given the kill order from Jaqen. So someone has to die in order to fulfill that.
The
How
Waif
se-
died. She was the name, turned out to be. The girl with no name. The Waif.
Is the many-faced god going to be happy with the Waif? Happy with no one?
Maybe the many-faced god needs to shut the fuck up.
I just didn't think that would satisfy his quota, but maybe you're right.
Yeah, who knows? It's hard to say. A man does not understand the many-faced god. I'm talking about myself. I'm a boy, really.
Pity a man had so many gifts.
So then she storms off. So now finally, though, she's free. She tried to leave. They sent an assassin. She fought the assassin, and now she's free to actually go
Right.
back without the specter looming over her.
But before-
I expected the Waif to follow her back to Westeros originally.
I was
a few
hoping for that
episodes
too, yeah.
And then she'd have some confrontations around the Westeros. They'd go
know.
like, "Oh, fuck you, I'm Arya.
I was
fuck
hoping
you,
like
I'm
she was
Waif."
gonna like be sitting down at the breakfast table. She picks up a spoon to eat cereal, suddenly the spoon is the Waif and tries to stab her with a fork.
Yeah,
But no, it didn't
yeah.
happen.
Or the Waif's face emerges out of the cereal bowl.
Yes!
Yeah, and goes, "You're the Fruit Loop."
Yes.
So, all right. Anything else to add, though? You were just hugely disappointed by the
Right.
episode overall, but
But
Arya
more so,
specifically.
like, where's Arya going from here? Because before the confrontation, she said, to the east is Essos, to the west is Westeros. What's west of Westeros? No one
yeah.
knows. Because she wanted to go there originally.
Right.
So now she's saying, it's like, I'm Arya Stark of Winterfell. It seems like she has a mission now. She's going to go back to Westeros.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
well, to get to the west of Westeros, you got to go either
Okay,
around it or across it.
But do you think she has a mission in mind now? Does
Yeah,
she have
she's going back to Winterfell. Or she's going to go look for her family.
But she, like, I guess she does care about that because
Yeah.
she chose to be Arya again over no one, and Arya has connections to the Starks, obviously.
Yes, of course. She is a Stark. And she's got to poke some holes in some bitches. So,
True.
All right, so that's it, guys. If you want to watch James and I talk about the entire episode in a lot of detail, we do a really long version. There's a link on the screen right now. You can click on that and check it out. We do shot by shot. We take screenshots while we watch it, and then we talk about it. We go into lots of detail. We have a fun time. It's always nice talking with you, James.
No, you too.
Yeah, even though I fear you that you'll slice my face off to avenge some sort of weird Arya bloodlust you have to return Syrio Forel to...
Cereal.
Yeah.
Syrio.
Syrio Forel. Isn't that his name? He's
Oh, that's awesome.
the most important meal of the day.
Yeah, he fights with cornflakes.
Wooden cornflakes.
Yeah.
Good night, James.
Good night.